Sunshines will shine together. Told you I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. So you know I'm gonna stick it out till the end. Now that it's raining more than ever.
Alright guys, this is just my critique of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I have a huge list, so this is only going to take at least 2 videos. And this list isn't in any particular order. It was the order I thought of stuff, and I jotted it down, and like went straight down the list. Okay, so let's go. First and foremost, Michael Gambon was a really big, pleasant surprise to me, because in the last 2 movies, the last 3 movies, yeah, he was kind of like this old cranky man, and like, I don't ever see Dumbledore as ever raising his voice. And in movie 4, when he runs in to Harry and he's like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And then like later in the 5th movie, when like Trelawney was getting fired, and like he like tells Umbridge that like she can't leave, as he's walking inside, he's like, don't you students need to go to class? And like, he was always this like cranky, aggressive, angry old man. And in this one, he was really playful. He only really got angry in the part where Harry was forcing him to drink the potion, but like we knew that was coming. So I was really pleasantly surprised by Michael Gambon and his performance, and for the first time in the 4 movies he's been in, he's actually been like Dumbledore, and he was actually kind of fun. He was actually just, I actually like Michael Gambon as this Dumbledore, not the other ones, but he was really good in this movie. David Heyman, I was really anxious about David Heyman directing this film, because I hated Order of the Phoenix. I hated it. I thought it was such a terrible movie. It was the worst out of all of them to me. And Order of the Phoenix is the only one of the Harry Potter movies I haven't seen more than twice. I've only seen it twice. I really don't have too much of a terrible urge to go back and watch it again. So, I was really anxious when I heard that he was directing not only this film, but the next 2 as well. So, but as I watched the film, I believe that Half-Blood Prince was the best of all the films so far. And I say that hands down flat. Like, it was the best Harry Potter film of the entire franchise so far. And it gave me a lot of hope for the last 2 films. Because I was gonna say, if it was anything like Order of the Phoenix, I would have cried. Random thing. Has anyone else noticed, like, the Death Eater masks have evolved? Like, in movie 4, they were, like, little skull thingies, and they kind of, like, little skull thingies, and they kind of look dumb. And now they're, like, these elaborate, like, masks with, like, gold and, like, niceness in them. Like, that was just something I noticed. It was like that in movie 5, too, and they just keep evolving. Details in this movie, like little details that they pulled from the books, was what made this film so much richer than the other ones. A lot of the older films, like, they're just kind of like baseline. They really don't delve into like the subplots or anything like that. This movie had like little details that they could have just left out, like when Hermione's crying and she makes the birds and then she like shoots them at Ron. And when later on, when Ron was upset and he makes it start snowing, like on top of him and Hermione, that was just really touching. And like little details like that, like really made this film so much more rich. During the snowing part, did anybody else think of that Makani picture with the snow? Just saying. Buster, I know you have a massive problem with the flying Death Eaters. I do too, but really the fact that Voldemort and Snape are the only 2 people that can fly without brooms in movie 7, and like in book 7, isn't that big of a deal, and it shouldn't be like that big of a deal to you, really. I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. If you don't like it, I have things I don't like either. But the flying Death Eaters have really grown on me. They really have, and especially since it's kind of like a scary substitute to Apparition and stuff like that. So it's really grown on me, and I know that you hate flying Death Eaters and stuff like that, but I don't see it as a big deal really anymore. Defense Against the Dark Arts class. I was really sad it wasn't in this movie, because really, in the last 5 films, the Defense Against the Dark art teachers are always so important, and so is the classes. We had Quirrell, who is Voldemort. We had Gilderoy Lockhart, which is the Basilisk scene. We have Lupin, who, as we know, Lupin's awesome. We have, who's year 4? Moody, who was David Tennant, Mad-Eyed, Barty Crouch Jr. Then we had Umbridge and Snape. Snape was like, I was really excited because like Snape's like my favorite character. Snape and Lupin are my 2 favorite characters, and I was really wanting to see the Defense Against the Dark Arts with Snape, and I was really sad that it had nothing, and I was really wanting to see the scene where they're like learning wandless magic, and Harry and Snape get into that fight, and he's like, Sir Potter, and he's like, oh, you don't have to call me Sir Professor, and he gets really pissed off and stuff like that, and I was really wanting to see that scene, especially because book 1 is all about Snape's up to something, and then you don't see that, and then book 6 is like, oh my god, Snape and Draco are up to something, but this time it was like, oh, Draco is just up to something, and Snape just happens to be hanging out and being cool. So, yeah, I was really upset that there was a severe lack of Defense Against the Dark Arts class. Anyway, speaking of Snape, Alan Rickman once again proved why he's my favorite actor, and he was my favorite actor before I saw the Harry Potter series, but he proved once again why he is my favorite actor of all times. Snape in this movie was absolutely wonderful. He had, like, his eyes were just so emoting of emotion. Like, even though he's so, like, deadpan in the face, like, his eyes just give away so emotion. Like, when he killed Dumbledore, you could tell how much it, like, physically hurt him to do that. And, Alan Rickman was absolutely wonderful, and it was amazing, and I loved it. I'm gonna check my time right fast. Okay, I can probably cover the next 2 topics. I really like Slughorn. I was really happy when I heard that Jim Broadbent was gonna play Slughorn. I really loved him in Moulin Rouge as Zedler, and I was a little nervous about who was gonna play Slughorn because he was such a major character in this book. And so when I found out it was him, I was very happy about that. And I thought he did a pretty good job as Slughorn, except for, did anyone notice, like, on his right, my left side of his face, like, kept scrunching when he was like constantly scrunched up on like this side of his face, and it was like he had a weird kind of imploding lazy eye. But I didn't like some of his wardrobe choices, and Heather kind of talked to me about this in an email. They had him in a lot of vertical lines and stuff, and vertical lines make you look long, tall and lean. Well, Slughorn is supposed to be really wide, like that's his thing. He's wide, he's big, he's wide. So I was almost halfway expecting them to dress him in vertical lines, because Jim Broadbent's not a very big guy. So I thought that would make him look wider. So I don't know. The costume designer person in me is kind of coming out a bit on that one, but I thought Slughorn was very good. Tom Felton, for not being really in any of the first 5 movies, your acting in this movie was superb. Tom Felton as Draco. Draco was wonderful in this movie. Absolutely freaking wonderful. He was probably one of the best actors in this entire movie. And I was just blown away by it. Like, Draco in this movie had so much emotion. You could tell he was going through so much pain and so much trouble. And like when he's holding the wand on Dumbledore, and he's like, and Dumbledore's like, you don't have to do this. He's like, yeah, I do have to do this. I do. He's gonna kill me. You could tell just in the words, he's gonna kill me. It's not just about Draco. It's about his family too. If he does not kill Dumbledore, and Tom Felton showed this, his entire world's going to just break apart. Like, Tom Felton put everything on the line in this movie, and it was fantastic. Like, Tom Felton, you were absolutely amazing. Checking time again. Alright, I'm gonna end here. Look out for the next one, because I'm almost out of time. My camera only does 10 minutes, so, which is good, because that's what YouTube videos do. So, next one, we could probably cover about a few more topics. Hey, we got through that much of my list. So, alright, see you in a few.